With us on this Friday as we slowly get you into the weekend. It is the 31st of July, the last day of the month, 2026. Dixon and Vining at Talk 99.5, talk995.com, on YouTube at Real Talk 995 TV. And don't forget, download our app, because if you're on vacation, you're on the road, maybe visiting family and friends or whatever you may be doing over the weekend, you can hear us at any point in time. We got some great programming over the weekend. More on that in just a minute. The weather forecast, partly cloudy, 20% chance of showers today, 92. It's pretty nice out there right now. 70% chance of rain on Saturday, so we are going to probably get some rain over the weekend. 88 the high tomorrow. Sunday, partly cloudy, 40% chance of rain and a high of 87. Wow. Where'd the week go, by the way? I can't believe we're to Friday.
Where did the month go?
Yeah, where'd the month go
That's
to?
the
And the
real
year.
question.
More than halfway there. Huh?
Wow. Yeah, boy. Mr. Bugs knows what bugs you. They're coming on Monday to my house. They're going to take care of everything. Austin is going to check out the termite bonding and do the Centricon system thing, and then he is going to lay down the barrier to keep the bugs on the outside. And then he is going to kill the bugs that are inside and check on everything having to do with the small rodent control. I don't know if he does the mosquito reduction. He might. If he does, then by all means, come on in and take care of it for me. But I think someone was just there a couple of weeks ago taking care of that for me, which is why I haven't had a mosquito in my backyard and haven't had to deal with it. Haven't been out there much lately because of the rain, because of the humidity. It's been rather unpleasant. But, when I am outside, I don't want to be eaten alive by mosquitoes, and Mr. Bugs makes sure that I'm not. And I love that. And I can't recommend them highly enough for any and all of these things. If you get all of them, they bundle it together and make it one great low price. Mr. Bugs, MRBUGGS.com. Mr. Bugs, they know what bugs you. You can find them on the telephone statewide at 844-MRBUGGS.
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
Well, a mediator from Pakistan swears that negotiations between Iran and the U.S. are ongoing right as the U.S. is carrying out a heavy wave of strikes in Iran after fresh attacks from Iran on Jordan. Now, yesterday, Jordan reported that they intercepted Iranian missiles for the second straight day, while Kuwait and, they said, Iran hit a building belonging to a Chinese company that killed a person.
Oopsie.
Meanwhile, we hear that China is getting munitions to Iran by way of Pakistan. They say that's not happening, but information coming out yesterday says otherwise. Iran is buying, they say, $60 to $70 million worth of Chinese shoulder-fired air defense missiles. So we're still looking into that. What in the world is going on there? Trump says that China's president did promise not to get involved in this war, and again, we've got to find out, are they really supplying them these shoulder-fire air defense missiles? That would not be cool. And at the same time, we have this situation that kind of happened overnight last night where an agreement has been made to completely disarm Hamas. It's a big step towards a new Palestinian government that may be able to set up in Gaza. So if that's really the truth, and they're disarming Hamas, and we can get Gaza cleared out, then there's an opportunity to maybe rebuild there. But that's a long ways off.
It is a ways off, and there's a lot of work to be done. Didn't take that long to destroy, a couple of years, but it's going to take quite a bit of time to rebuild it, and hopefully they can rebuild it properly and without the tunnels, without the nonsense that has been going into this thing ever since Hamas took over. That is really part of the problem here. What's really interesting? I don't know. I was thinking about this last night. I was in talk radio at the time. It's hard to believe. I was in talk radio when Bill Clinton was president.
Do you really want to admit that?
Yes. I'm thinking back to that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was a million years ago. But Bill Clinton had negotiated an agreement between Yasser Arafat and I think it was Menachem Begin. I can't recall. But he had negotiated a deal that basically gave the Palestinians everything they wanted: their own state, their own security, the right to move about freely, anything and everything that they could possibly ask for was all negotiated at Camp David. Bill Clinton did the negotiating. He thought this is Nobel Peace Prize material. And in the end, Yasser Arafat just walked away, could not sign it, because it included the words, you have to admit that Israel has the right to exist. And that was the thing that he just could not agree to. And you go, wow, all this time wasted and all these dead bodies over the fact that that could have been done back in 1999.
Didn't happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we've got a kind of a scary situation that's going on, and maybe people aren't familiar that there are different kinds of ticks and tick bites, and no one wants to get bit by a tick as we think of Lyme disease. Well, there is a rare tick borne infection that there is no treatment for it. There is no vaccine. There is no commercial test to identify this specific tick. It's called the bourbon virus, like the drink.
Mm-hmm.
A 67-year-old man, his name is Michael Larkin, in New York, was bitten by 2 of these Lone Star ticks that they call that infected him. The symptoms are very similar to Lyme disease and can be misdiagnosed. The way that you know that this is that kind of tick is that it has a white spot on its back. And again, when you're talking about a tick, it's really, really small. You're going to need to find maybe a magnifying glass to see this thing. But this man spent 5 days in the hospital, treated with antibiotics. They didn't know anything else to do other than to do what they would do with a patient that maybe has Lyme disease. He developed a rash, a fever, night sweats, debilitating headaches, he said. And there are other symptoms that can come with this. 2 cases have ended in death. The Lone Star ticks have popped up. Kansas is the state that's just covered up. I mean, if you look at a map, it's pretty bad there. Oklahoma, Missouri, there are probably some here in Alabama as well, and other southern states. So the Lone Star ticks rely pretty much on white-tailed deer, if that helps you at all. So, if you're out doing some hunting, maybe you have some land, maybe a backyard that's just really high in weeds, you might want to make sure that you put down something to take care of the ticks and fleas that are in your yard, even if you don't have a dog. Because if you're out there wandering around, you get one of these things on you, that would be really bad.
Oh, yeah.
But, what strange thing. Really strange. And again, 2 deaths from it. You're like, I don't want to be bit by that. Thank you.
No way.
Pretty bad. And finally, this story. If you own one of those robot vacuums, Roomba or something, there's tons of manufacturers now. Our federal government has some concerns. They say that they are going to ban these vacuums if they are made outside of the USA. The FCC has said that the devices threaten national security and will now be on its covered list, which prevents newly introduced models from receiving the equipment authorization required to be imported and marketed in the U.S. This isn't just vacuums. We know now that they make robotic lawnmowers. So it's those as well. And they're just concerned about them. And they said, if they're made in China or someplace else, they're going to ban them. I'm like, well, alrighty.
New overseas made models from brands such as Roborock, Samsung, Dream, and other major names will generally be unable to obtain FCC authorization unless they apply for and receive a waiver. Holy cow.
Yeah.
All right.
I was thinking, I think I told you I was at a nail salon at the one that I go to, and they have like a type of Roomba, robot vacuum. And as I'm getting my nails done, I'm thinking, I might need to look into getting one of these because I've got a lot of hardwood floors and Lucy hair.
Yeah.
She's a mini Australian Shepherd, and they shed crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you vacuum every day almost because there's the little, balls of fur that go across that. And I'm thinking, that might work really well in my house.
Yeah, they've come a long way. I bought one of the early ones. The missus didn't care for it. I mean, she wanted it. She asked for it. She specifically wanted one for Christmas, and I got it for her. And that was back when they were about $600.
Yeah, they're pretty reasonable now.
Yeah, they're much more reasonable. Plus, they have cool docking stations where they empty themselves.
And they go in and they recharge.
They recharge. They sit there. And back in the day, it had a very small compartment that would hold the dust and the dog hair and whatever. You'd have to empty that with great regularity. And then you'd have to plug it in and charge it up every time you wanted to use it. Now, these docking stations and the fact that it can return to its own little docking station, they run about $200, $260, something like that for an okay one. They've come a long, long way, and now that I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about one too. Maybe so. Maybe I could use one of those. Would probably terrify my dogs, though.
It might.
They are so dumb. Bless their hearts. I mean, they
start barking at it.
Oh, yeah, they'll lose their minds over it every single day, I guarantee. It doesn't matter how many times it comes out and does its thing. They'll never get used to it. 8:16 with Dixon and Vining on Talk 99.5 and Talk 99.5.com. Work Trucks is downtown at 2324 3rd Avenue South. Hey, I found out they never actually closed while the gas leak was going on downtown.
Ah.
They actually just moved across the street to the service center because that was open. Interestingly, one side of the street closed, that side of the street open. So they moved over there, and anytime somebody would show up to see what was on the lot, they would run out there and go, "Hey,
Come on over here.
yeah, we'll talk.
That
We'll make
bullhorn.
this
Hey,
happen for
we're
you."
over here.
Listen, we got a great deal for you on this Toyota Tundra. You're gonna love this.
Come across the street. Bless their hearts. I'm sure
Uh-huh.
that was not fun to go through.
Actually, here's the thing about these guys. They don't know how not to work, which is why the idea of staying home and not going to work was abhorrent to all of them. So they showed up, and did what they had to do, which is great. That's the kind of people you're dealing with at Work Trucks, folks who are going to work hard for you, get you the best possible truck for the best possible price, and for your needs. That's Work Trucks with an X, LLC.com, Work Trucks with an X, LLC.com. If you go check them out online, over 100 vehicles on the lot at any given time, live and in person, and now wide open at 2324 3rd Avenue South. 8:21. Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Dixon and Vining with you. Dave texts and says, whoa, pulled ticks off the dog that looked like the tick you described. Got a $200 shot at the veterinarian said to protect the dog for a year against fleas and ticks. Yeah, you can get the shot. I use the pills every month.
But for the dogs.
No, I take them too.
Do you too?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean.
That explains a lot.
Sauce for the goose, sauce for the gander, I say.
Right. Did you check with Dr. Andy on that? Does he know you're doing that?
He's the one who suggested it.
Here, you take one. One for the dogs, one for you, Richard.
That's exactly right. The first of the month is when I give them, so I got to remember tomorrow's the day. They got to get them. Fran says, on the market side, WM bagels are great, Walmart. Especially the everything ones, slightly toasted with cream cheese. Yum, have a great weekend. Thank you, Fran. I will take a look at those. I've never had them before, but they ranked very high.
They did. I'll give them a shot.
They were number 2.
Listen, we do have options of getting a fresh bagel. That if you don't want a bagged bagel, you want one that's really good.
Well, I mean, they sell them at Panera if you want to go there.
Yeah, you can do that.
Quick and easy.
And now you got these bagel places that are popping up all over the place.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Einstein Brothers is finally opening up. I do like their bagels. A man who gave his son the gun he used to kill students, 2 students and 2 teachers at Appalachia High School in Georgia, was sentenced Thursday to 15 years in prison.
I can guarantee you he never thought that it would lead to this. Guarantee you.
Colin Gray's sentencing comes days after his son Colt Gray was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in the September 4th, 2024 shooting at the school. 45 miles northeast of Atlanta, Colt Gray had pleaded guilty to murder and other charges. Defense attorney for Colin Gray asked the judge for a sentence that would amount to 10 years in prison, followed by 10 years on probation. The district attorney said Colin Gray deserved to be sentenced to 80 years in prison. Judge Nicholas Prim, who had also sentenced Colt Gray earlier this week, noted that all of Colin Gray's crimes were crimes of negligence tethered to the tragedy committed by his son. There are many people who honestly believe that this should be kind of the standard nowadays, that if a kid goes and shoots up a school, the parents should be held responsible. Having been a parent, I can tell you that you're not always 100% aware of what your child is doing, you know?
You try to stay on top of it, but you're right. I mean, they at that age, they're kind of young and dumb.
Yeah, oh, they are.
Yeah.
And clearly can't see past the end of their nose when it comes to some of the decisions that they make. I remember, I'll hear about this because there's always somebody out there who knows how to parent better than you do, and they're going to explain to you why you're wrong on something. But my daughter had really pretty much hit the limit, man. She had just absolutely, she was a kid who was constantly getting in trouble, lied a lot. I mean, a lot. And I would say to her, why are you
catching you in
don't
a lie.
even have to lie about this. Like, this isn't even something that you need to lie about. Why
are you lying
are
about
you
it?
lying about it?
Right.
I'm really confused by this. But anyway, she had pretty much knocked the top off of it, and I removed the door from her room. I just took it away. I was like,
that's really a move.
Clearly, you cannot be trusted.
That is a great move.
And she's like, how dare you? You can't do that.
Yes, you can. It's your house.
She's like, this is the sanctity of my room. I'm like, you don't have a room. I have a room, and I'm letting you use it. That's how this works. But, even given that set of circumstances, a room with no door, she was still somehow doing things that I wasn't aware of. She did not have a computer in her room. She was not allowed to have a phone. That had been taken away from her some time before.
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously, she was still going to school. We weren't going to keep her from going to school. So she was going to school, and somehow things were taking place, outside the purview of my home. So you don't always know exactly what your kids are doing. You'd like to know.
And you think sometimes that you know.
You'd like to believe.
That's going on.
Yeah. You'd like to believe that you have an idea of what's going on. She did, by the way, eventually straighten out and is, she's a mother and now taking care of a child with developmental disabilities, and it serves her right. Now she's finding out what it's like. I said, I hope
Richard.
your kid is just like you. That's what I said. As my mother said to me.
Oh.
Yeah, I told my daughter once, I said, You know what really infuriates me is you make me want to call my mother, whom I haven't spoken to in a decade or more. You make me want to call my
And say,
mother
"You
and
were right."
apologize.
Yes.
It's
I
like,
am so
"You're
sorry."
making me crazy this way. This is what you're doing to me. How dare you? Oh, God, parenthood is fun, isn't it?
It does. It does make you reflect on your own childhood and what your parents put up with and
Yeah.
what you put them through, and you just want to go, I need to give you a hug and say I'm
Yeah.
sorry for what I did, and also, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, just how did you juggle all of that?
The biggest mistake that I made was believing that my daughter was like me, because she seemed like me.
Yeah,
She
they're
talked
not.
like me.
I know.
She had my sense of humor, and yet, when I turned 14, the only thing I wanted in the world was to be left alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent as much time out of my parents' eyes and out of my parents' way as humanly possible. I basically lived. I used their house as a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
I slept there. I ate there. The rest of the time, I was off doing something else somewhere else, and I wanted to be left alone. I assumed my daughter was going to be that way. What she really needed was for me probably to be a lot closer to her, and say, look, if I'd had a closer relationship with her, then you would have been able to say, what are you doing with that gun? And what's this list of names from the school? What are you doing with that? What's this all about? That's where you're kind of like, okay, now we're on top
Now
of
we're
it. We
getting
see what's
somewhere.
that never happened, by the way. I'm not saying that she
No,
was
no,
ever in
you're
that.
just giving an example of this dad.
Because this dad clearly did not have a clue as to what was going on with his son, and he basically handed Jack the Ripper a knife. His son was already planning on a school shooting, on shooting up the school. We had the other case in Michigan where the parents gave the kid a gun. And you're like, what are you doing? Why are you giving your 15-year-old who has written and drawn pictures in the margins of his books and his notebooks about, violence at school? Why would you hand him the weapon with which he could carry that out?
No, and I would say, if you get one red flag of, your child, there being either mental issues or something else like that, all that stuff's got to be locked up so they don't have access to it. If you're going to have weapons, if you're going to have, knives and all of that, and again, you have a clue that this child, there's something going on there, you've got to take that responsibility and lock it up so they don't have access to it.
It is incumbent upon you.
Yes.
You have to be the adult in the room and stop that sort of thing from happening before it happens. In this case, obviously the judge felt that this guy was guilty enough. I mean, the jury found Colin Gray guilty of second-degree murder in the deaths of two 14-year-old students. Georgia law defines second-degree murder as causing the death of a child by committing the crime of cruelty to children. Gray was also found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in the killings of teachers Richard Aspinwall and Christina Irami. Another teacher and 8 other students were wounded, 7 of them hit by gunfire. Jeez. One family member said this wasn't unavoidable. This was preventable. Because of the choices made inside the Gray household, 4 families were handed life sentences of grief. Not a bad turn of phrase there. She pretty much put a fine point on it. All right, keep an eye out. Watch your kids. Watch your grandkids. Make sure you know what's going on out there. It's now in your best interest. It's not just a question of making sure that your kid is on the straight and narrow for being on the straight and narrow sake. It's now a question of you not being locked up. Because if you're not careful,
that's going to be you.
They'll come after you. 8:30, Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Mr. P's grilling tip coming your way next. Pork for a rainy Saturday. 836, Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, Talk995.com. Finding out now that the police chief of Seattle was out of town during that Taste of Seattle shooting that took place. Was it last week one day, I want to say.
I think it's Sunday, maybe.
The 15-year-old
we were talking about it on
and the 19-year-old.
Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, I think it was Sunday, and then we came in on Monday, and we were talking about it.
Yeah. He has now resigned because he was absent when that shooting took place, which makes you wonder. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Why
the police
are we?
Chief. I mean,
Yeah.
why is it the police chief's fault that he wasn't there?
Well, yes,
day?
we had
That's-
some
yeah.
questions. Hey, if he was on vacation, maybe out of state or something like that,
Yeah.
I would say you get a pass on that and try to maybe get back as, when you can. Or obviously, you put other people in charge
Right.
if you're gone, the assistant chief, to handle things like this.
Of course, this may also be
Or was he someplace maybe he shouldn't have been,
Yeah.
and now he's been caught
was
with.
in a love nest with.
I don't know,
Yeah.
what it's all about, but he's resigning.
He's also the guy, by the way, who coined the term small groups. This violence seems to be caused by small
No,
groups.
gang. The word is gang.
Gangs.
It's
Gangs.
it's okay. Say the word. It's okay.
You could say gang
It's
if
a
you want
gang.
to. Yeah. Yikes. Anyway, there's a little update for you in the world.
Sure is. Hey, we've got a lot of rain. We're checking out radar for you for the weekend. It's not bad today. Enjoy the weather today, but tomorrow we're definitely going to get that. And I would encourage you that if you have some issues maybe at your home that you've experienced and you are ready to get maybe your crawl space encapsulated to keep the water out permanently forever, do that with B-Dry. B-Dry in business over 6 decades. You've got somebody like David Fevid and the many guys that work there at B-Dry that do such a good job taking care of cracking in the foundation of homes across central Alabama. If it's mildew on the walls of your basement, do not breathe that air. Stop what you're doing. Call B-Dry. Get them to come out and take a look and give you a free quote to get it fixed at 205-942-1976. The other great thing about working with a company like B-Dry, this is a local company, as I said, in business over 65 years, and they know what they're doing. 12 months interest-free, budget-friendly solutions for you. And the pros at B-Dry, get it done and get it done right the very first time. And take advantage of this 25% off encapsulation. It's not going to last forever. This is just a limited time. So if you've got the water in the crawl space and you know there's an issue there, just at least, if nothing else, get a free quote. Talk to them about what the issue is and see what the price is and get that 25% off. Take advantage of it. 205-942-1976 for B-Dry or online at bdryalabama.com.
All right, time for Mr. P's Grill and Tip. Let's talk pork, shall we?
Let's do it.
Mr. P's Butcher Shop and Deli, 813 Shades Crest Road in beautiful Bluff Park. They are open until 6 o'clock, serving sandwiches to go, serving sandwiches in-house until 4. Truly some of the best sandwiches you will ever eat at Mr. P's because it's a deli. It's right there. They also have an amazing array of meat and a lot of meat specials. Mr. P's Meat Special number 2 right now is 2 8-ounce bacon wrap filet mignon steaks, 1 pound of filet mignon tender tips, 2 1-pound packs of ground steak, 2 6-ounce boneless center cut pork chops, 2 6-ounce boneless skinless chicken breasts, and 1 pound of Mr. P's cooked Italian meatballs, plus a 16-ounce bottle of Pilato's barbecue sauce, all for $108.99. That's a lot of meat for not a lot of money. $108.99 at Mr. P's Butcher Shop and Deli, 813 Shades Crest Road. Now, if it is in fact going to be raining all day tomorrow, as they are suggesting, and you would like to whip up a little something for the fam, it's time to break the crock pot back out, because it's quick and easy, and it uses something that we talked about the other day that I think everybody probably either has or could easily pick up. It's not a difficult ingredient to find. Aside from the pork chops, you can use bone-in or boneless. I tend to like boneless pork chops just because I feel like when I buy like bone-in pork chops, I'm paying for a part of the pork chop I'm not going to eat. I don't like that.
That's a good point.
So I tend to buy the boneless pork chops, but you can use bone-in if you have those. A little bit of garlic powder. You're not going to use salt in this because every other ingredient has salt, including onion soup mix. That's right, onion soup mix, chicken broth, cream of chicken soup, that envelope of dry gravy mix that you can buy at pretty much any standard grocery store. Plus, you need a little cornstarch and water for thickening. It's quick and easy. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to put some garlic powder on both sides of your pork chops. And then you are going to combine your onion soup mix, your chicken broth, cream of chicken soup, and pork gravy mix. How much of each, you ask? Well, it's a lot of it is up to you. I mean, a can of cream of chicken soup is pretty much what you're looking for. A cup of chicken broth. I would go, by the way, with the low-sodium chicken broth if you can find it. It's a better way to go. And then everything else is kind of an envelope as it is. Then you're going to put your pork chops in, and you're going to put the top on, and you're going to do it on low for about 4 to 6 hours. Last but not least, you want to whip up your cornstarch with a little bit of water. You've probably done this thickening trick before. Once you get that cornstarch completely dissolved in the water, you can go ahead and pour it in about a half an hour before everything is done. Stir it up a little bit so that you thicken that gravy. That gravy will thicken as it goes. And then at about the 6-hour mark, depending on how hot your I have a crock pot that runs really hot, so when it says 6 hours, I generally go 4 hours because it's done so fast. It is a very, very hot, even the low end is very hot. Warm is kind of low. Low is high. High is, I don't know what the hell it is. I don't use it. It's a great crock pot, though, as long as you know how it works. And as long as you know your own crock pot, you're going to be okay. But when that gravy is nice and thick, go ahead and break it out. I like to serve it over mashed potatoes, or you can serve it over rice if that's what you have. The pork is incredibly tender. Other things you could do with this if you want to throw, for instance, you want to chop up an onion, throw that in there. You want to throw some mushrooms in there late. Fresh mushrooms, you chop those up and throw them in late, or slice them up and throw them in late because you don't want them to disintegrate. If they're going to sit in there for 4 hours, they're going to get real tender real fast, and then they're just going to be mushy, and that's not going to be good. But you can liven this thing up with a lot of different things, a lot of different ways. Another thing you can do for pork on the inside is take these boneless, skinless pork chops. You can marinate them in Mr. P's marinade for about 2 hours. Usually I would recommend longer than that, but you don't want too much marinade on these. You just want them to absorb a little bit of the moisture so that it has the flavor. And then I like to use Pilatary's Greek seasoning on it. I throw a little olive oil onto my indoor griddle. Make sure the fan is running, And the boneless, skinless pork chops, 6-ounce versions, really about 3 minutes a side. I'll do 2 minutes on each side, and then I'll check on the temp, make sure I'm not overcooking it, and then I'll go back and do 1 minute again on each side. Absolutely delicious, very quick, very easy. Worst part of that experience is having to clean the griddle afterward. Pretty much always the worst part of the experience when you think about it. There's your Mr. P's Grill and Tip. Mr. P's Butcher Shop and Deli, 813 Shades Crest Road in Bluff Park. They have the best steaks in Birmingham. Restaurant Guru says that. I don't say that. I do say that, actually, but, there are other people who say that, like Restaurant Guru. And they've got some of the coolest stuff there. If you haven't looked at their steak and bacon hot dogs, you should definitely give those a look-see, because a hot dog that's made out of steak and bacon, and it still cooks like a hot dog and eats like a hot dog on a hot dog bun, this will shock your friends and neighbors. You got to pick some of those up when you get the chance.
You may not need a bun.
No, who needs a bun?
Who needs a bun when you got that?
Mr. P's Butcher Shop and Deli, tell them I sent you. They love to hear about that. A song that figured prominently in one of the greatest movies of the 1990s. Was it the 1980s? Or the 1990s?
Once
I want to say. Coneheads?
The Coneheads. We need more of the Coneheads. That was fun.
Yeah. That was a surprisingly good movie based upon a Saturday Night Live sketch. There were many that didn't go. Wayne's World I thought was good. Wayne's World 2 was one too many trips to the well. Stuart Saves His Family was atrocious. Molly Shannon Superstar, complete disaster. But there were some that were, better than others. I actually even liked The Ladies' Man. I thought that was a bit of a surprise. But Coneheads was
really good.
Much better than I expected it to be. Much better. When I finally got around to seeing it, I was like, oh, why did I avoid that for so long? Anyway, speaking of movies, Debbie Schlussel chatted with us a little earlier about what's at the box office this week, and I asked her, what's at the movies this week? Debbie?
So the big new movie, and there's really nothing else new at theaters, is A Spider-Man: A New Day. So I went to go see this last night at 11 p.m., and I had the last seat it was packed. I couldn't believe it. I think this is going to be a big hit. I don't think it deserves to be. This is 2.5 hours long, way too long, very repetitive. They could have cut at least an hour out of this, and it would have been just fine. We would have missed nothing. It's a big mess to me. There's a lot going on. There's Bruce Banner, who played by anti-Semite and Hamas supporter Mark Ruffalo, who recently said he doesn't talk to any Jewish actors anymore in Hollywood because they all defend Israel, which is not even true because most Jewish actors don't. But anyway, he's in the movie. He's now retired from hulking and is a college professor. They have all the people from the previous life of Peter Parker, who is Spider-Man, who have forgotten who he is because in the last movie, which is like 4 or 5 years ago, he has the whole world's memory wiped clean because everybody discovers that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and he doesn't want them to know, and it's ruining his life. So everybody's memory is wiped clean. So now he misses his old friends Ned and his old girlfriend MJ, and he starts following them online and goes to a party to talk to them, and he discovers MJ has a boyfriend, and he's all depressed about that. And he is told by the Department of Damage Control that there's a new threat, and then the new threat turns out to be this psychic in the form of Sadie Sink, the actress from Stranger Things. She's mad at the Department of Damage Control because they have her sister. It's just kind of a mess, very long, very boring, kind of pointless. Now, there are parts of it that are funny and entertaining, but it just mostly was not worth my time, in my opinion, or yours, and not worth the $14 that I paid to see this thing. There was no point to it. And the villain wasn't so villainous. What she does is she takes over the minds of other people. So he thinks MJ, his former girlfriend, finally remembers who he is, but then it turns out that she was possessed by Sadie Sink. I mean, there's stuff like this. There's also John Bernthal is in the movie as the Punisher. He repeats his role from TV. But by the way, so the 3 stars of this movie, they all were in The Odyssey. John Bernthal, Zendaya, and so on. So it's just Hollywood. Come up with something new, come up with something exciting, and come up with a new ensemble of actors. We don't need the same people in all your big hit movies. So it wasn't for me. 2.5 hours long, like I said. They need intermissions on these things, or better yet, they need editing. Now, the other things that I'm watching right now, on Netflix, there is a series that just came online that is about the Pan Am 103 that blew up over Lockerbie, Scotland. that was done by Libya and possibly the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, or supposedly they were involved also. Now, one interesting point, and I'm hoping that this shows up in the series, was that there was a drug courier, drug dealer from Dearborn, Michigan, that was on that flight. And he is believed to have been tied to Hezbollah. So there was the thought that this was not only a Libyan and Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine operation, but also Hezbollah. So I'd like to see if they touch on that in this series. But so far, so good. I just started watching it. There's also a documentary series about the killings in Utah with Brian Kohlberger, and I am interested in seeing that, especially now, and I started watching it, but especially now that he is trying to withdraw his plea, which I don't think is going to go anywhere. So I am enjoying that so far. I love the true crime documentaries, but that's pretty much what's new. There's also a new movie called I Want Your Sex. I did not see it. It's not about George Michael. It's about somebody working for a boss and willingly being her sex slave, but then it gets to be too much, and it's supposed to be an erotic thriller. I might see it over the weekend. We'll see, but it doesn't sound too promising. So far, we are, all edging into August tomorrow, and the movies this summer have just not been very good. But I do think this is Spider-Man movie, just judging by the sold-out attendance at a late show last night, it's probably going to be a big hit, but undeservedly so.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think they're predicting a really, really huge open for this movie. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think about the theory that Netflix is financing these murders just so that they can make the documentaries on the back end?
You know what? That would be a great strategy, because I think those are the kinds of shows that are doing well. I think it was last week that I recommended the Toxic Love Story. That's also in the Netflix top 10, and this is a remake of it's not a remake, but it's a retelling of something I already saw on Dateline, but it does it much better. And there's so many twists and turns, and that's doing very well. I think they need more of these, either that or people being framed for good Netflix documentaries. I enjoy them. I think they're the best thing on Netflix, because I feel like a lot of the fiction stuff ends up being a wild goose chase because Netflix needs content, and people aren't that good at creating so many new stories every weekend.
Apparently not. Yeah, I need something to watch over the weekend because we're supposed to be rained on tomorrow. So I might check out the Toxic Love Story thing and see what it has for me. Thank you, Debbie. We appreciate your time. As always, we'll do it again next Friday.
Yes, have a great weekend. And one other thing I want to mention, I saw something that supposedly Elon Musk created of a segment of the Odyssey using AI, and supposedly he's going to use Grok to make the whole Odyssey. Now, if the segment I saw is his, and it's any indication, it's much, much better than the movie with Matt Damon and Tom Holland, who stars in the Spider-Man movie. And I'm against AI for a lot of things, but one great thing about it is I think it's going to be better in a lot of ways in movies and things like this, and it's going to put out of business a lot of these woke Mark Ruffalo types, and they're going to have to revert back to being waiters / supermodels, and we won't have to hear from them again.
There you go. Well, she found the upside to AI. I love it. Thank you, Debbie. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, too.
There you go. Steve also saw Spider-Man Brand New Day, and he's going to give us his review in the next hour.
And it'll be interesting.
Might be
sometimes they're along the same lines.
Sometimes
they're like, whoa, y'all sell two different things.
Steve, by the way, is celebrating an early birthday.
Happy birthday, Steve. Happy birthday.
His birthday is a week from Sunday.
You know what we're doing? Yeah. We're actually jumping Steve to the front of the line because both John Bird and Andrew next week have birthdays.
Yeah.
But we're gonna move Steve West to the front of the line on this, even though it is his next Sunday.
Well, thank you.
I would ask what days their birthdays are on, but I really don't care. So
you don't?
I'm not gonna.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not getting
That's
them
kind of
anything.
sad.
Why?
You don't care?
They don't care about my birthday. They've never cared about my
Okay.
birthday. Why should I care about theirs?
right.
Huh? Why? Huh?
Huh?
Why,
Huh?
I
Huh?
say? Huh?
Huh?
9 o'clock, Dixon Inviting Talk 99.5.
That took a turn.
Sure did.
Coming up in the next hour, Steve's review of the movie that he saw yesterday, the 2.5 hours of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I keep thinking that Home should be in the title because the other three had Home in the title. Spider-Man Homeless.